And part-time lover. You can't off-scream, can't you?
Oh,
Before.
I was beat a lot as a child. I'm kidding. I'm only kidding.
That was absolutely brilliant. Now, where was that filmed?
That was filmed in London at the O2 Arena
Yeah.
on the Boys to Men tour. I was the supporting act.
Right, so you've supported Boys to Men. I mean, that is a big, big gig, isn't it?
Well, it was big. I like to get with the big people, that way I can go to these places.
Yeah. So who else have you supported?
Well, I've supported Dionne Warwick,
Oh,
Gladys Knight,
yeah.
The Temptations, the Four Tops, George Benson, and who else?
Well, not
Some
too
others.
shabby, the ones that you've supported. And also, you're friends with Stevie Wonder, are you not?
Yeah, well, me and Stevie grew up in Detroit, so I would bump into Stevie every now and then. Matter of fact, we had the same barber.
Right.
And so I would see him, and hey, Stevie, you know, who is that? He said, who is that? You know, so this is Marvin Ruffin. Oh, yeah, where your cousin at? He owes me some money or something. So he'd joke about something, you know.
Yeah.
And then he sang at David Ruffin's funeral when he died.
Right.
And I was with him then. And then he came over to my grandmother's house after, and we had dinner together. And then I met up with him again in Japan, when I lived in Japan. And the last time I saw him was it last year at the Manchester Evening News?
Oh, the MEN Arena.
Yeah, and he's on my Facebook. He's me and Stevie's got a picture of my Facebook. So
what's he like?
Oh, he's a jokester. He's a comedian. He's a serious humanitarian.
Really?
You know, he's a philanthropist. He's so many different things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through a lot of stuff as well, but.
He's come through the other side.
Yes, and that's that's what makes people great, I think.
Yeah, it's being able to succeed with the grot that life sometimes throws at you.
Or the fame.
Yeah, or the fame, you're right. You're
know?
right. It's how people manage failure as well as success. I think
exactly.
that's what makes you strong. Who was it? Nancy Reagan or someone said, you know, if it doesn't break you, it makes you, you know, that sort of thing. You just said something that interested me. You said when you lived in Japan. How long did you live in Japan for?
About 2 years.
Why did you live there?
Well, when I was living in Spain, I was living in Tenerife, and I was doing the shows there, and one of the guys that were in our group, he said, look, you want to go to Japan? I know a guy that can take you to Japan. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I want to travel. I want to see as much as I can, you know. Yeah. So he gave me the number. I called the guy. The guy said, okay. I sent him some material, and he saw it, and he liked it. He sent me some money. Yeah. And I flew to Japan. And
so
I was there
what
for
sort
2
of
years.
venue? Why did you go to Japan? Where were you performing?
Oh, you'd be surprised how much Motown is in Japan.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You don't think of Japan as being a Motown center.
I know. It was a town that I lived in, which is one of the major cities in Japan, called Nagoya. Yeah. And they had a place called Gary's Motown Magic.
In Japan?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it was all the players, all the musicians and the singers were from America. Yeah. And they just loved it. And the place was packed every night. Whoa. And I mean, it cost you 30 pounds to get into the place before you even had a meal. And you had to have a meal, you had to have drinks.
How long ago was that, Marvin?
Oh, this was a while ago. This was about 10 years ago now.
So 30 pounds to get in 10 or 11 years ago. And you have to have a meal, which will probably be a lot of money. And the drink will probably be very expensive. Yes. Gosh, is he retired on a fortune now, the owner? I think he must have.
Well, I mean, you know, it's one of those things. I don't know. I wish I had the money that that went through that place.
But was that an enjoyable time of your life?
Oh, yeah. I love Japan. The people there are just so friendly, so nice. Such a clean place. Yes. Yeah. You know, so it's...
Well, tell me this. When you did that pep assembly with your sister and you enjoyed the singing, but you still went on to do mechanics and what have you, when did you start singing on your own?
Well, like you say, I always had to have that money coming in from the day job. Yeah. So one day I just said, look, you're going to have to stop straddling the fence. Yeah. And that's when I went to Spain, to Tenerife. Because I always had a band going on. I always had music going on.
So you always had it going. So you went from Detroit to Tenerife?
Well, from Detroit to Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 6 years.
Ah, right.
And then I got the call from Tenerife. The guy said, you know, come over. They want a singer.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where Tenerife was. I'd never heard of it.
So you're a bit of a free spirit. You just went.
Well, yeah, it took me a couple of months because I didn't even have a passport at that time.
Well, listen, we're going to take a listen to you singing another song in just a few minutes.
Okay.
But we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, so please keep it here. We'll be back very, very shortly.